So in today's session, we're going to be going through the SAP Event Management data model. It's critical to understand how these tables relate with each other and where to go and find the information once it's in event management. Because it's sort of a system-to-system process monitoring tool, all the functionality that's updated in event management happens after the fact. You use QRFCs or TRFCs to actually update the data. So it's hard to debug on the fly. So what you need to do is make sure you understand which tables to go and have a look at, what you're expecting in each of these tables when an event happens or when an event handler gets updated. You need to know exactly which tables to go in order to support the functionality. So without further ado, let's get into some of the details behind the SAP Event Management data model. So let's get going. The data model for event management is actually kind of simple, very normalized, very well thought out. Two key areas of event management being the event handler and the event message. The tables are split out according to those two areas. All right, so an event handler is always has the namespace /SAP TRX /EH underscore, and then HDR for the header, EH underscore stat for the status records, STHST for the status history, EH control, EH info for the control and info parameters. Here's my expected events in EH underscore EXPEV. EEHST is the history of expected events. Here's our measurements, error messages, query IDs, and authorization fields are stored in there. The Z table is the extension table, which helps you create indexes on fields that you typically search on in order to query your event handler information. So you would typically map a control parameter into an extension table field, if and only if you want to use that field for querying purposes. Otherwise, it has to go into this name value pairs tables of EH control or EH underscore info. Then, before I get to EVMSG, I'm going to go into the event messages. The event messages all start with the namespace /SAP TRX /EVM underscore. So here's our event message header detail, expected event modifications. If you want to change the expected event for the event handler, then you would use an EVM underscore EEM field. If you want to change a control parameter, an info parameter, or an extension field, then you would use EVM underscore par, right? You would use EVM underscore ref if you want to change a tracking ID on an event handler. If you want to update a measurement on an event handler, then you would use EVM underscore MER. EVM underscore LID for locations and partners, so the location of where the event occurred and then the partner on where of who actually executed the event. Then the event message header extension table is not the same as the event handler extension table. This one is to add extra fields that are not catered for by the standard tables here, being EVM header, EEM par, any of those things. So if a parameter or an attribute relates to an event and only that event and is not catered for in a reason code or a data ID or anything like that on an event message header table, then you would go ahead and create an extension and store that field in there. An example would be the longitude and latitude of where the event happened. There's no such field in event management to capture that information, so throw it in the extension table and you'll be good to go. I said I'd come back to this EH underscore EVMSG. This is the intersection table between your event handler and the event message, right? So it's a many-to-many relationship, i.e. one event handler can have many events related to it, and that event can have many event handlers relate to it. This is the one that ties it together. So I've got, if you look in each one of these little rectangles, if you see the key for that particular field, EH underscore GUID is my key for the event handler. And you'll see each one of the underlying tables in the event handler section have event handler GUID as part of the key. On the event handler event message side of things, the event handler GUID, and then the message GUID is the intersection with the event GUID over here. So I don't know why SAP called those differently, but that MSG underscore GUID over here is literally the EVT underscore GUID over here. Okay, and that's about it from the understanding the data model perspective. All right, well, that was short and sweet, I guess. So if you have any more questions on the SAP Event Management data model, please feel free to email me, kevin@erpgenie.com. Happy to answer any questions that you may have on the topic. Looking forward to the next one, where we'll actually go through describing the events that are available within Event Management. Thank you. Bye.